Multiple representation will come up almost throughout the entire Ontario real estate salesperson program, and although a simple concept by nature for some, it can be really tricky, especially when you're involving designated and brokerage representation. In this video, we'll break it down. I love average scenarios when it comes to teaching. In this video, we're going to go over 3 scenarios that can come up. This way you are learning the concepts, right? Not just trying to memorize something and forget it. You're going to learn the concepts based on scenarios that could come up. Then you can use this, you can apply this on the exams when any multiple choice question comes up. Just quickly, if you find these videos helpful, consider liking and subscribing. It means an absolute ton to me, but let's just dive right into the video. Okay, to break down multiple representation, we have to take a step back for a second and let's discuss brokerage representation, designated representation, a client, and a self-represented party. When it comes to brokerage and designated representation, this is relatively new. There used to just be one brokerage representation, but now there's both. Designated representation was brought about as single brokerages are getting bigger, and with designated representation, and we'll of course discuss this in one of my scenarios, you have a really good chance of avoiding a common multiple representation scenario, which is what ideally every brokerage wants to do. You always want to avoid multiple rep when you can because it is a conflict of interest. Just a quick note, for the real world, 95 to 99% of brokerages just operate the one way under designated representation. However, there is both and you need to know it for the exams. A client and a self-represented party, we need to know the differences here. A client, we are providing services to, we owe full transparency to, and we have a fiduciary duty to promote and protect their best interests. A self-represented party, we cannot provide any services to, only assistance, and we owe them fairness, honesty, and integrity. For a client under multiple rep, owing full transparency does differ, and we will of course discuss that. Scenario number 1. Moving forward, I'm going to be referring to multiple representation as just MR. This scenario is the same for both designated representation and brokerage representation. I'm a real estate salesperson with a listing that is live. I promote my seller's client's property on social media. One of my clients I've worked with in the past reaches out to me and says, I just saw your new listing. It is perfect for us. We want to make an offer. At this moment, I have one seller client, of course, my listing, and I have one buyer client that's coming in that is a previous client of mine that wants to make an offer. Myself and my brokerage are in an MR situation. What will have to happen for this to proceed? Well, both my seller and my buyer client will have to give written consent for this to proceed. They must sign off on understanding my brokerage is in an MR situation. What can we do and what can't we do in this situation? We will still facilitate the entire deal, all paperwork, everyone will be treated with fairness, honesty, and integrity. However, we cannot disclose the wants or need of either party involved. Also, our advice is limited. If my buyer client asks me, what should I offer on this property, or what are the sellers willing to accept, or why are they moving? I cannot disclose this information as we do have a conflict of interest. What I can provide for them, of course, is all information on the property itself and comparable properties. If, for example, we listed this property for $1 million, I can show them the reason why we listed it for $1 million, which is usually comparable properties in the area that have sold for a similar price. Again, this is an MR situation. On to scenario number 2. This scenario again is the same for both designated representation and brokerage representation. I'm a real estate salesperson with a listing that is live. I do an open house. At the open house, a couple comes up to me and says, this house is perfect for us. We would like to make an offer. After a brief conversation, we decide to assist them as a self-represented party. We provide them with the RICO information guide as well as the disclosure to self-represented party form. They understand we are promoting and protecting the best interests of our seller client. We cannot disclose personal information or provide advice on what to offer, but we can facilitate the entire deal, all forms and all contracts. Here we have one client and we have one self-represented party. This is not an MR situation. Let's move on to scenario 3. This scenario is different for designated representation and brokerage representation. I'm a real estate salesperson working with a buyer client. I show them a property that fits their criteria and they love it. After talking to the listing salesperson, I find out that they are holding offers until tomorrow. I write up the offer for my buyer, everyone signs it, and I submit it the next day. I get a phone call from the listing salesperson saying they have another offer from my same brokerage and we might be in an MR situation, meaning somebody from my office, another salesperson, has put in an offer and I didn't know. This can happen as brokerages are getting bigger. I'm working with my client, they are working with their client. We end up putting an offer in the same property. This does happen. So this is two buyer clients, two salespersons from the same brokerage offering on the same property. Under designated representation, this is not an MR situation. Under brokerage representation, this is an MR situation. This is a great example of one of the differences you will need to know for the exams. In that scenario, under designated representation, it's exactly what it sounds like. They are designated. Each salesperson is designated to their own client. What can those two designated salespersons do now? Is there any limitations? There is. They cannot disclose to each other the wants and needs of either of their buyer's clients, but they are not in an MR situation. Brokerage representation, yes. Designated representation, no. I'll quickly put up on the screen here a possible question you may see on the exams just to go over. I think it's going to be a good practice. Just keep in mind, MR, multiple representation, will come up on course 1, course 2, course 3, Sims 1, and very little in C4 and Sims 2, but fantastic, and you need to know this information for the real world as well. Unlike other videos where I go through and break down the entire question, I'm just going to pinpoint one factor. Sometimes on these exams, they will try to confuse you by involving branch offices. They will have something like this. They will have a buyer salesperson at ABC Brokerage is putting in an offer from their main office, while another salesperson at ABC Brokerage is putting in an offer from their branch office. Meanwhile, at XYZ's brokerage, another salesperson is putting in an offer. The salesperson from ABC is operating under designated representation, while the salesperson from XYZ is operating under brokerage representation. Who, if anyone, is in a multiple representation scenario? Just note for this, and it's going to be the same, consider them one office when this comes up so it doesn't confuse you, right? A branch office and a main office, consider that one office for the purposes of multiple representation. In this case, you would know that ABC Brokerage is not in a multiple representation because they're operating under designated representation, and they threw in the XYZ Brokerage, although that doesn't matter at all because it's a separate brokerage. These exam questions will have a lot of that. They will have stuff that you need to take from it, and they will have useless stuff in the question. That is why you're here, to determine what's what. Just don't get confused. Remember these three scenarios and go back through it if you need to, because they are really good and the ones that will come up the most. If you are looking for additional support to pass these exams first try or crush a retake, look to the Exam Master mini courses in the description below. It's mini notes, mini quizzes, my exact fundamentals I use to pass all exams first try and in 4.5 months, and I also do video breakdowns on the 4 types of questions you will see in the exams. Those links as well in the description below are also value links for the YouTube family for the time being. If you have any questions at all, you can DM, email, comment on this video. I get back to everyone. My name is Callum Moore, eXp Realty real estate broker here in Ontario. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.